Hello, this is Annie Softpot here, and welcome to the Saturday Softpot Club. Now today I'm doing something a bit different. I'm using a different system that hopefully is going to record to Facebook and also to YouTube. Hopefully people will be able to join me in this. If somebody's there, could you let me know? Now, because it's going to YouTube as well, some people probably won't have even heard of the Softpots. And Softpots are handmade fabric plant pots, suitable for any plant, indoors or out. And that's a Softpot there. And all Softpots are actually made from ladies' tights and stockings. There is a little bit, it's not quite as simple as just shoving compost into a leg of stocking, because actually that doesn't work. But with a very, very simple addition, you can finish up with something that is really quite remarkable. When you think of Softpots, you have to think flexible plant pot. And as you can see, they are very, very different shapes and forms. There's a bulb bomb. There's a pancake Softpot. There's my tulip, and that's got a lovely back on it. And the lovely thing is that you can, the only limit really with the Softpot is your imagination. Because you've got a flexible plant pot that is actually better for the plants because the roots grow naturally. You don't get roots spiralling. And you can grow all sorts of things. Vegetables, trees. That's my little crabapple tree. I've had that for many, many, many years. You can involve sculptures. You can sculpt them. You can seed them. You can paint them. There's absolutely no end to the sort of things that you can do with a Softpot. Now, many of these I've had for many, many years. And one of the things I've noticed about Softpots is that they're just so much kinder to the plants. And you can make them to match your decor indoors. If you've got indoor plants, you can make them match any form. A lot of the time I go to festivals and then I go to the Great Yorkshire Show, and probably won't this year because I think it's cancelled. But I tend to front the pavilion for the Women's Institute with Softpots, and they get all dressed up to go to the festival, and then it's really, really quick to put a new dress on them so that they're perfect for going to the Women's Institute. Now, this is one of my old favourites. This is a moss pot, and as you can see, now I've had this plant for many, many years, and the moss on the pots protects the plant roots during the winter, and also protects them during the summer. Now, here we are at Bow Grove, here in Harrogate. And this little garden here is actually, believe it or not, in the car park. And it just goes to show that you can take a Softpot garden and pop it anywhere and create a certain amount of magic. You know, I've got a horrible feeling that nobody can join me when I'm broadcasting to this way. I'm really missing people not talking to me. Oh, hello. If there's anyone out there and you're watching this, could you leave a note anyway? If you've got any questions or anything, or just say hello. Because I've got a horrible feeling I'm here all on my own when I'm broadcasting through this medium. It's a bit difficult, isn't it? But yeah, those are examples of Softpots. These are Softpots that have been painted. And I call those the three blessings. I speak, I hear, and I see. And it's my response to see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Because I think that when we see things that are wrong, we need to say, I say it's wrong, I hear what's wrong, and I see what's wrong. And say something about it. So yes, those are our blessings. To see, to hear, to speak. And here's a little bit of weirdness here. Now, I've had this one many, many years too. And I just happened to stick a painted Softpot in the branches there, and it's stayed there ever since, and it's doing very nicely indeed. I mean, the wonderful thing about soft pots is that they're not prisoners like plants and conventional plant pots. They can breathe. And here's some more. And this is just a nice little job. Again, I've used one of those fruit bowls, and I've just used it, made it into a soft pot pancake. Planted bulbs into it as well, so the bulbs will come through. And as you can see, everything here is doing really, really well. And I mean, soft pots is a new garden craft and a new form of container gardening. Now, that one there I've had for many years, and that's moss and decorated. And it's beautiful, isn't it? I mean, I can't say that I'm a good gardener. I got kicked off my allotment for not growing my vegetables in military rows. And I came across soft pots. I developed soft pots as a result of getting kicked off my allotment, because I wanted to take my plants with me when I went camping. It's a long story, but and there, that's a window box soft pot. There, again, you know, you have to think flexible plant pot. Now, if you're local at the moment and you're here in Harrogate, Bow Grove is open for takeaways. You can't sit down or anything, but you can come along and you can get pizza, all sorts of nice goodies, cakes, coffee, but you have to take it away with you. That's the only thing. And there's another bowl. And so you can see, I mean, soft pots, I mean, everything does so well. And there you can see the hyacinths are coming through. And when it's all finished, I'll take them out and I'll stick something else in. I mean, soft pots are reusable, recyclable. They're just the perfect plant container. And when you make them, this is the angel wheel. If you're local, you can come in and give it a spin. I've got my gloves on. And what that does is it just gives you the two angelic influences that are with you today. And it's really quite telling sometimes. What have I got? Gratitude and humour. Yep, there's a lot to be grateful for. I have to admit, you know, every day feels like Sunday, and I absolutely love it. I'm revelling in the gift of time. To have the time to... Oh, yeah, I'll show you that one. There you are, that's another painted soft pot. It had grass in it at one point growing out the back. It might come back. And there again, that's another example of stuffing things into soft pots, or soft pots into things. And there we are, welcome to the soft pot garden. Now, the wonderful thing about soft pots is that you can grow your vegetables, trees, herbs, flowers, anything you like in them. And if you live in rented accommodation, you can just take it with you. And it's a magic. There's a magic about soft pots, and you get to know all of your plants really individually, and you love them. And when you make a soft pot, it's a heart-opening experience. You just, can't go wrong. And you finish up just loving them. Making soft pots is a craft and a love that can last forever, absolutely forever. Now, I'm very lucky, actually. Here I am at Bow Grove, and this is where my soft pot garden is. And, oh, by the way, this is something I started doing, and it's really good. If you've got kids, just get a bit of chicken wire and rip up some rags, and then get them sort of just hang it. I've just hung it on the fence. But just get them to weave things with bits of rag, bits of anything, really. And that'll keep them occupied for hours, because once you start, it's really hard to stop. Anyway, that will keep me going. That's my hour's worth of exercise every day. So anyway, here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back home, back to my studio, and I'm going to show you how to make a soft pot. And here we are, Bow Grove. There we are, open for pizza today as well. I think they're doing pizza. Hello, Peter. Hello. Right, going across the road. I'm going to take you upstairs to the studio. And I've got some weirdness to show you. Oh, yes, I have. Just make sure I don't get run over. It's so convenient, I have to admit, to have everything just across the road. If I had a really long garden, I could include that. This is my bit of garden, and in where I live, I can't say I really have a garden. It's sort of like 20 feet of gravel at the front. But having said that, I get a lot of joy out of it. Oh, and I've put my well back. Now that well is made with Softpot stones, and a lot of the stones have started to grow their own moss, so they're naturalising. And I'm just delighted with that, because there's a bucket in the middle, and I keep that filled with water, and then if everything feels a bit dry, I just plonk it in there, and it waters my plants perfectly. And here again, this is another old sculpture, very, very old. That's got to be coming on 20 years. I find that I'm attached to my plants, I'm attached to my soft pots, and you'll find that you're the same. Once you've had them and we've made them, you just love them. You see, that's a really tall soft pot, but that looks like quite a small base. Soft pots are fat bottom girls. They hang in there much better than plastic or terracotta pots in heavy winds. They really are much, much better. Right, I'm going to take you in, and up we go. You know something? I've got a horrible feeling that nobody can join me on this channel, and that's just so sad. I've got soft pots all over the place at the moment. Come up the apples and pears, da 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 da. And I've got some weirdness to show you. I found some old seeds from 2010. Now I'm going to see if I can turn you round and pop you on top of the ladder, as usual, and welcome you to my studio. Now, just see if I can just form it out as a little case it's doing. There we are. Da-da. How's that? Yeah. If you love living plants, being creative, and you're hungry for something new and different, and especially in these times, something that you can do indoors that keeps the children really, really happy, make soft pots, I say. Hello. I'm Annie Softpot. Well, Annie Austin Meek, but everybody knows me as Annie Softpot because I invented softpots over 15 years ago, and I've never stopped talking about them or making them ever since, because there's just so much to say about them. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I've got a feeling I'm broadcasting on a different sort of format, and I've got a feeling, that my Facebook friends can't actually join me live in this. I didn't think to check that. So, if you're watching me on Facebook, could you just say hello, 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 and I'll respond when this is over. I'd just like to know, I'm not sure what's going on actually, whether or not this is broadcasting or not. But I do miss everybody being live and saying hello, hello, hello. Just delighted that you're going to join me. I'm going to show you some weird stuff. Right, with the seeds. Now, this is one of my seeds. These are one of my Softpot seed boxes. Well, planters. And what it is I think I've got spinach in there. And I've just used a rim. How you make them actually is probably a separate thing. But I just wanted to show you. And then every week I'll bring it in and let's see if they work. The seeds are 10 years old. But seeds are seeds, aren't they? That's how I make a softpot planter, a bigger one. And I also do them so that they could just hang off my washing line, because I don't have a garden, as I said. And those will just hang off my washing line, and then when they grow, I'll either add another softpot and let it grow through and through, and then eventually it has to stand on the ground, or not. I'll leave it hanging on the washing line. Now, I grow my carrots that way every year you see that. Carrots on my washing line. But this year, actually, because of our situation, it might be worth actually having a good look at some of those old seeds of mine. just to be on the safe side. And if you've got a garden, or even if you haven't got a garden, I'll show you how you grow your potatoes, your carrots on the washing line, and how you can do the most amazing things with a leg of stocking. Well, actually tights, the whole bit. Now this is quite interesting. I just bring this. Remember my old friend? Soft pots are absolutely wonderful for bonsai. When the roots come through on a plant, when it's in a soft pot, it'll come through underneath, and all you do is just rub the roots off, and the plant goes, ooh, and it bonsais itself. Now this is a very, very old one. I bring it in every year for the last 3 years, and I just thought I'd bring my old friend back, just so that you can see how well it's doing. And it's just gorgeousness, isn't it? Yeah, and this is a moss pot. And I just love, they're my favourite because you don't have to do very much with them at all. Sometimes, with soft pots, you put a dress on them. And if they've been outside, if you've been outside wearing your wedding gown for 5 years, it might not look so good. And soft pots, they sort of age differently. Some age really well and some age terribly. But it's only the top dress. So if the plant's good, just whack another top dress on it and it'll be ready to go to the ball. Now, put that one down there. And this one, recently I've gone off. I sort of went through a phase of not dressing anything. This is just a plain soft pot, and I rather love it. It's got bulbs in it, tulips, and I just really like the way it just balances on there for display. And that's the nice thing about soft pots. You can display them in ways that you'd never display a plastic or terracotta pot. You can stand them on tall candlestick holders with a pointy end even. Whoop, doesn't hurt them. You can do so many different things with soft pots, as I said. Imagination. Everything comes down to imagination. Now, I'm just going to pop that there. And just want to say hello to everyone I'm not seeing. I miss you. I do hope you're keeping well and safe. These are extraordinary times, aren't they? And, part of me is a bit, a non-partisan virus that only kills old people doesn't sound very non-partisan to me. But I'm one of the old, and I'm very grateful that everyone's going to so much trouble to protect us all. Yes, while all the heroics are going on and you're indoors, soft pots can be the most wonderful means of keeping yourself and your children happy and on a balanced keel. Because when you make a soft pot, it's working with the living plant, your own creative spirit, the earth, and by the time you've finished, you've created something that has the feeling of the sacred about it. You can mix up, you can put in, all sorts of different combinations, but a lot of the time a soft pot honours the plant, just one plant, and you really get to know it well. And it's a wonderful way to introduce children to the land of plants, to the world of plants. Because by the time they've finished, they will just love it so much. They have a connection. Now, what am I going to do? I'm very short of plants. I wish I'd seen it coming, because they closed the garden centres. To me, that was cruel. That was cruel, because people that's in springtime, the sap is rising, and, really need to be, outside and growing things. But if we're stuck indoors, if you've got any plant whatsoever, even a stick of ivy will do. I'm lucky I've got a sage plant, and it's quite timely really, because what else can you do in this situation but be sage about it and accept it, I guess. And I'm making the most of it, I have to admit. As I said, every day feels like Sunday, and the quality of life and people being kind and nice to each other, it's so rare. It's so rare to have this gift of time. Right, what am I going to do? Soft pot. Yeah, okay. Now, soft pots always start with a leg of stocking or tight. It can be, ideally, it needs to be the sheerest, shiniest, glossiest stocking or tight you can get your hands on if you want to make them really pretty, because they're perfect gifts to give and you can't go wrong. Excuse me. You can't catch anything. I'm just going to chop the leg off this leg of stocking. Now, I often do use black nylons, 10 denier, sheer, shiny, glossy. You can use heavy duty tights, but it's a different beast altogether. And I'm going to make some little special videos that show you how you get the best out of those sort of things, because that's what most people have got, heavy duty tights. Now, I might actually be able to show you a bit with this one. Now, I'm just going to chop the toe off this. Just made a knot, chop the toe off, because I want to start a little bit higher up. If you want a fatter base, start higher up. Now, I'm just going to stretch that a little bit, and I'm going to get this ring, and the ring comes with a kit, and the kit you can get from softpots.com, and the kit will make up to 20 soft pots. You might need you will need some more stockings, but at your end you'll need compost, gravel and a plant. And then if you need more stockings or tights, you can get them. They come with some, but it doesn't come with 20 stockings and tights. There we go. Now I'm just going to stretch that. All soft pots start off with a little bit of gravel. If you go outside and borrow some gravel from your next door neighbour or out there in the road, just give it a wash to get rid of the sand and the dirt and the slug eggs. Now, people think, oh, you just put compost into a leg of stocking and that's it. Actually, that is not a soft pot. If you put compost into a leg of tide, its remit in life is to constrict. And that's what it will do very well indeed. And if you just put compost into a leg of tide, it will constrict and constrict until eventually you can't get anything in, water in or out, and the whole thing dies. And it's not a soft pot. A soft pot needs this. Now, I call it soft pot gold, and it's just the perfect thing for making soft pots. It's a natural mineral. It comes from volcanoes, and you blow it up like popcorn. And when it's mixed in with the compost, it stops the compaction of the tights, it absorbs the water and nutrients, releasing it slowly, and it looks beautiful in a naked soft pot. People say, oh, well, couldn't I use perlite, those little white styrofoam balls? I would say no, because they look too white and too regular. They're not beautiful, but practically, every time you water, you'll find that they move up to the top. And after a couple of weeks, you've got like the aftermath of a football match on the top of your pot. And blow me, that compaction's happening underneath. So no. You can order Soft Pot Gold just on its own from my website. And you can order enough to make, each small bag can make up to 20. And I mean, that's medium size. If you make small ones, even more. So yeah, that's a £5 bag. Go for it. Just order from my website. If that's all you want, that's okay. I just want you to have a go, because making soft pots, it's all very well watching me here on this video thing, but it's only when you make them and feel them and squeeze them. I mean, soft pots, they just engender a whole new sort of relationship with your plants. They're like pets. They're like good friends. Anyway, a good soft pot has got Soft Pot Gold in it. And the wonderful thing is that when you usually make a planter, you've got earth, air and water. But when you make a soft pot, because you've got the fire element, because this comes from volcanoes, you've got all 4 elements. And then when you decorate your soft pot, you're decorating it with your own creative spirit. And I think that's why every soft pot is sacred. There's just something magical about them. And you see, when you make a soft pot, you measure yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, take a note of how you feel. And then take a note of how you feel after you've made your soft pot. Now, my arm's been aching for days, and I actually, to be honest, I have to measure myself to 6 today. I'm not on top form. But by the time I finish making this soft pot, I bet I would measure myself better. Anyway, let's see. there we are. Got my soft pot, filled it up with the mix. It's got gravel, it's got the compost, it's got the soft pot gold mix. And when you're mixing compost, it has to be the right compost for the plant, obviously. And also, for every 3 scoops of compost, I put 1 of soft pot gold. And then mix it in, and it looks like a scrumpy sort of cake mix. Now, I'm just doing the bounce here. Children love the bounce, and it brings out your inner child. Now, I bounce it up and down, and all the compost has dropped to the bottom in a nice loose pile. And that's exactly what I want. And see how beautiful a naked soft pot is. Isn't that just gorgeousness? And when that goes outside, if it went outside just naked like it is, it would start to grow its own moss, its own patina. Now, if you don't like the moss patina effect, just take a damp cloth and wash it off. Actually, if you've got indoor soft pots and they've got dusty, just take a damp cloth and wash them off. Just wipe them, and you'll see that they all come back to their original pristine, glittery glory. Now, there we are, 1 soft pot, naked soft pot. Wanted to show you that. Now, just going to do the donut, going round, and I'm feeling for any lumps, because I don't want lumps in this soft pot. It affects the drainage. And then, some composts have got logs in them. If you've got logs, just get your hand in, whoosh, get them out. Now, actually, I don't need those anymore, do I? Oh, that feels lovely. Oh. Making soft pots is incredibly therapeutic. After you've made a few, you get to know how you are by the soft pots that you make, by the colours that you use, by the materials that you choose. It's very, very telling and very, very therapeutic. Now I'm going to take my little plant here, and I'm just going to open up the stocking leg and very deftly just drop it on the top of the pot and bring that up over its head. Now I'm just going to tie that up there loosely. Soft pots are very, very good, very suitable for hen nights because they are so soft and flexible and suggestive. I'm going to put my thumb on its shoulder and I'm just going to lift up the compost up to its neck and just tuck the plant in. And it's much, much kinder than any conventional. Don't want to bring it too far up, might roll it down just to give it a little bit of shape there. But it doesn't really matter, any shape at this point in time, because at the end, it will take any shape that you want to give it. Now, this is, Now, this is a bit of heavy duty type. And the thing is, that a lot of people, that's what you got, is heavy duty types. But to get the best out of them, what you need is at least 1 leg of Tendenia Glossy. I'm just going to put a bit of that heavy duty type over the top of there. The lovely thing is, is when you make a soft pot, you've got no idea what's going to happen. And as often as not, I've certainly got no idea what I'm going to do. Now, again, chopped, got a tube of Tide, different colours. And it doesn't really matter how many layers you put on the side, as long as you keep it clear underneath, because that's where it's going to take its moisture from. Now, what I could do here is I've got blue and I've got red, so I could just do that and give it a little polka dot effect. Sorry, could you shut the door, please, Lucas? The studio door, sorry. Oh. Yeah, you don't want to cut through if you can possibly avoid it. If you do cut through to the base, it's really easy to fix it. You just take another leg of stocking and whack it straight over the top and seal it in. I mean, soft pots are very forgiving. They're better for the plant, better for the planet because you're using all sorts of recycled materials. And you really do. I mean, oh goodness me. Once you've made 3 or 4 soft pots, you get what I call soft pot eyes. And everything you look at, you think, oh, could I put that in a soft pot? Could I put a soft pot into it? Could I wrap a soft pot round it? Excuse me, I'm just going to go and shut that door. So I've got sort of all sorts of holes that I've just cut here and showed the different levels. And you could keep on doing that, but I'm not going to here. Now, there we are. That's that, that's that. I could use other things to actually decorate it if I wanted to. Colour glass, which comes with the kit. You get 9 balls of colour glass of every colour that I've got. And it's really, really easy to use this. You don't need much. I always tend to blag on too much. But it actually works as a grip for everything else that you might want to put on your soft pot. And I'm just popping that there, around there like that. Da, 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 da. And then you can put on all sorts of other things. I'm not going to put on that much actually. I'm going to try not to. I just tend to load things on. Glittery bits. Any sort of bits of material. Synthetic. Anything synthetic like this. I use anything that's synthetic, glittery, shiny. Chop it up, chop it up, chop it up. I put it in my bits box. And it's all sorts of bits of chopped up shiny things. But it's really handy to have. Because using the colour glass, you can actually just stick little bits of things underneath and in. And you'll find that the colour glass holds it in place. And this is what makes it wonderful for kids, because you don't need any sharp pointy pins. All you need is a sort of fairly blunt pair of scissors and the ability to tie a knot. Soft pots are so unprescriptive. It's very rare these days. Everything is nailed down. And it's so nice to find something that you can just do. And you know, it doesn't matter what you do, you'll finish up with a beautiful soft pot. You always finish up with beautiful soft pots. You can't help yourself. I mean, I'm not an artist. Now, here I've just got some bits of synth acrylic wool. Anything like that, with texture, bumps, lumps, glittery, shiny, anything you like. Got a bit of that. Anything that takes your fancy. Ideally, it needs to be acrylic, but sometimes you can't tell the difference. And as I said, in the end, what might happen is that you'll finish up with... now, I could put on Christmas papers, sweet wrappers. They're really good to use. I work really hard to collect these sweet wrappers over Christmas, I can assure you. Just again, just pop them in, and it creates a lovely bit of glitteriness. Feathers, beads, shells, sweet wrappers, milk bottle tops, all sorts of things are fair game. Now, what am I going to do? I'm just going to take a chop of that heavy duty type. I'm trying to show you how to use heavy duty tights because that's what most people have got. And if you get a bag of 10 denier tights, if you just use one leg, you'll get the best out of using heavy duty tights. But you put one leg of 10 denier on first and then bring it over. Right, so what else have we got? Now, could put glittery bits on, shiny bits, sequins, all sorts. Now, ooh, got a bangle there. This is the only time you can put a bangle on, really. Just going to pop it there, down at the base. Right. Going to... Does it look like a fairy going to the ball? I sort of think it sort of does in a way. I mean, it's not too glittery over the top. I don't think. Not for me, anyway. I'm going to walk my fingers down. Going to stretch it over the top, down, round. Going to bring it down over my arm. Stretch that neckline. Going to take a slice of tight. turn it into a stretchy bit of string, and then tie it underneath that collar that I've made where the bangle is. There we are. And that's to find that. Now, there we are, got that so far. Oh, it's so strange not having anybody talking to me. I don't know whether I can do this, even though it does broadcast to... I've been trying to get onto YouTube for ages, years. And I think finally this actually might broadcast to YouTube, but I really miss not being live on Facebook and people responding to me. Oh, respond. This is the sort of isolation that completely freaks me out. Anyway, here we go. Got that. Going to do the twizzle, turn it upside down, swizzle, twizzle, swizzle. And this actually is a bit where you're, by spinning the stocking, you're creating more tension. By creating more tension, you're making it as sheer as it's possible for it to be. And look at that. See how it's all jumped out, all the colours? Beautiful, eh? Beautiful. Right, I'm just going to tie a simple knot. And then, once I've cut the excess off, cut the umbilical cord, so to speak, da-da-da-da, my Softpot is born. Now, I can give it any shape that I want to. I can squish it in, make it like an amphora shape. Ooh, lovely. Oh, yes. I can make it into an amphora shape, I can make it square, I can make it round. If I wanted, I could have put seeds underneath so the seeds grow up. But actually, I really like that, what I've got there. That is absolutely lovely, and that feels firm, like a living thing. It's can't help but kiss them. So, there we are. There's my sage Softpot for today. And as I said, it feels really weird having nobody here to talk to. I feel a bit lonely. But if this is feeding to Facebook, please say hello. Thank you very much for joining me on another platform. Well, it's not another platform, but I can't respond to you and I can't see your comments, and I really miss that. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me, and I do hope that you stay safe and well during the course of this next week, and make the most, if possible, of the gift of time that we've been given. I spent so many years jumping through hoops, and suddenly I'm not obliged to. And it's just such a gift. For all its hardship and difficulty and danger, I just hope that we bring some of the good things that have come out of this lockdown with us into the new world, because there is no doubt it is going to be a new world, isn't it? Well, thank you for joining me. Between now and then, I wish you as much joy and ease as possible. Hope to see you next Saturday. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me.